Let's move on to our topic.
Meow.
My Savannah! This movie was not very good.
Cats.
Why did they destroy it?
Cats.
All right. I guess we'll just... So, Lion King, the absolutely 100% unnecessary remake of the original beloved classic from 25 years ago.
Wow.
It came out this past week, and we all went and saw it. And obviously, I'm already sharing some opinions. Let's go for thoughts, Brandon.
I forgot I saw it. I legit, I remember it, but, I guess either I was so busy or it was so inconsequential to my mind that I just kind of, I was sitting here, I was driving, actually. When I was driving back, I was like, what is our main topic? What are we talking about? Was there a movie that came out this? Oh, right, Lion King.
Yeah, we're talking about 1994's Lion King.
Not only that, I have one more thought to share.
No, please, go.
After I went to see it, I said, Mufasa's death scene doesn't really hold any weight in this film. And my loving girlfriend, who I love very dearly and almost broke up with after this moment, said, well, I didn't feel anything when he died in the 94 film. I felt something more in this film. And I'm like, honey.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
We got to talk. We need an intervention.
I don't know if I'm coming home tonight.
Now, to be fair, if you haven't seen the original or you don't have, a nostalgia for the original, I can get it.
Yeah.
I don't think this version gives you any emotions. I think this is an emotionless movie, basically.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
I think Timon and Pumbaa bring some emotion, but it's too late.
Man.
Ryan.
Yeah, what hour mark would you say Timon and Pumbaa come on? The hour mark?
The hour mark.
Yeah, the hour.
I woke up at an hour.
Yeah.
Thinking back, I didn't realize how truly bored I was, but I was sitting there going, wow, this is boring. Oh, wow, Timon and Pumbaa, they're great. Oh, they're gone. Oh, I'm bored again. That's basically how I felt, and that's the most disappointing result you could possibly ask for.
Right.
Unsurmountably disappointing. Ben, what's up?
Yo, so like Sparks, Lion King is my favorite Disney animated film. It was the first one I saw. It was the first one I grew up loving. And everything in that movie is in the original animated movie, because Van and I rewatched it before we went and saw the live action one, just so... It was probably
I did as well.
Yeah, it was probably a bad idea.
Probably
we have the classic, but as I was rewatching it, I was like, man, this movie is great. I just love all the voice acting is great.
No joke. The movie starts and I'm thinking to myself, man, this movie's great.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that shot. Oh man, the movie's beautiful.
The second it starts with the pure Walt Disney Presents, and then you hear the Yeah, you're right, Ryan. I was bored. Even when Timon and Pumbaa showed up, I was sitting there saying, how long do we have to go? Because I really have to go pee.
Yeah, right?
And I want this movie to be done. And I really thought, if we weren't so far into the aisle we were, I probably would have just gone up to the restroom and left.
We've seen this movie,
the worst sin any remake can ever do is make you want to watch the original again.
Yeah. I was glad. Yeah. As I was watching the original, I know it's a thing to not try and compare the two as it's going on. I couldn't help it. Circle of Life was a shot for shot.
Most of this movie is shot for shot.
I couldn't tell when this movie was trying to pad for more time. Beauty and the Beast padded for more time, but you couldn't tell where they padded for more time. I could tell in this one, and I say that is a sin. Sin on you, good sir.
Shame on you.
Shame.
Yes. What's up?
Hey guys, I loved it.
I know you didn't.
No,
I was listening to your sighs.
No,
I could hear you from 2 seats away. No,
I tried really hard.
Yeah, man. I know.
So I'm gonna make a weird comparison.
Do it.
Shrek the musical.
I've seen Shrek the musical.
Is Shrek the movie on stage, and that musical takes its liberties, but when it's doing exactly the same thing from the movie, it suffers from this thing where the actors are trying very hard to say the exact same lines, but not the same way, which means that because it's mostly jokes, the jokes don't work because they've changed the delivery, even though it's exactly the same dialogue. It's a weird thing that happens. I've seen multiple versions of Shrek the Musical, and that's true.
The Lord Farquaad song is awesome.
Yes, there are things that weren't in the movie that are really good.
Yes.
But the things that are from the movie that are just straight up the same dialogue, they're like, I'm not gonna say this the same way, and thus that means you missed the punchline. The Lion King remake suffers from a similar thing, but it suffers not from them trying not to do the same delivery of the originals, but because they are all restricted to this rigidity of what real animals look like when they talk, and thus can't be expressive, except for Billy Eichner and Seth Rogen playing Timon and Pumbaa, because for some reason we're allowed to make their eyes wide and their mouths move in ways that are unnatural.
But that's the thing. So when I was looking at real lions, and they're more expressive than the animals in this movie.
Yeah, but I mean,
King Kong,
not according to them.
King Kong shows more expression 20 years ago.
Yeah.
We watched the trailer for his Dark Materials, which we'll talk about later, but that has fake animals that are a little cartoony, but they look really good in the real world.
This film was misguided. This film should not have been made. This is the first time that I've ever looked at a Disney remake and said, you've crossed the line.
I agree. This is the first time where I'm like, oh, this was a bad idea.
This was the same argument that I've been playing for all these remakes ever since we heard they're coming out.
Yes,
but most of them have been good.
Aladdin was good, but
I love Aladdin.
I like Beauty and the Beast.
Then you can only name like
Cinderella.
2 or 3 you don't like, and the others you haven't watched.
Wait, what?
How many can you name that you actually don't like of the remake?
This one.
Besides this one?
Yes.
That's it.
I'm trying to think.
Jungle Book's good. Cinderella's good.
Now,
Aladdin's good.
Beauty and the Beast.
Okay.
It's not that good.
Okay.
But you liked Beauty and the Beast when it first came out.
Yeah, when it first came out, nostalgia blindness.
And you haven't seen
I still like it.
You haven't seen
Yeah.
Pete's Dragon.
Right, I haven't seen Pete's Dragon.
so you just can't put a blanket filter.
Maleficent. Yeah. So this is something that's bothered me.
But Brian, here's my thing to that. It's not Cinderella. Yes. Maleficent. Yes. Make those. Not Lion King. Not Aladdin. Not things that have been out for 20
But
plus
Aladdin's
years.
good.
They got a good one. That's great.
Yeah.
But then here we come with Lion King, and now we're saying it's like, yo, this is not that good.
So my point is, it's for different creative reasons. This is a
Right.
shot-for-shot remake, which they've never done before.
So this is the whole thing that has bothered me up to this point, is that whenever anybody talked about the Disney remakes, they would treat them. Dumbo's a great example of this too. They would treat them like, well, I don't want to go see just the exact same movie all over again. They're just doing the same things all over again. And I'm like, cool. Literally none of them have been that, where they're exactly the same. There's always something different. I will admit that Beauty and the Beast is probably the worst aggressor of that, but even they changed it up a bit. Lion King is the one that is guilty of what everybody has been saying the whole time. It is the one that went, no, straight up, this is the same thing.
And the things
And that's
changed,
the problem, because when they talk about all the stuff that they kept doing, the same shots are in this film as in the original animated film, but they want you to just be twisted into this nostalgia. But all it ends up doing is saying, as I just kept saying to myself, I'd rather watch the original. And by the way, Rafiki's cane shows up, and I'm not too sure what the point is when they're just like, hello, my old friend. Is that for the audience?
Yes,
or is that
yes.
for them?
It's supposed to be like a nostalgic thing, but it's a stick that he had in the movie. It's not a MacGuffin. It's just a stick.
I accepted at a certain point that I'm like, okay, Rafiki just doesn't have a stick, and then all of a sudden he has a stick, and I'm like, why didn't he have his stick?
It's like
up to this
why
point.
It's
didn't
like
he have the
Captain
stick?
America getting his shield again, or like Kratos getting the Blades of Chaos. It's like, what's the point of this scene?
So, like everybody knows, I'm a passionately huge fan of The Lion King. It's absolutely obsessive. It's my number one film of all time.
It's tattooed on your skin. Yes.
It is tattooed on my skin. This hurts me.
Yeah.
It hurts me to talk about a Lion King thing I don't like, and that breaks my heart. And
you know what's really bad about that? Well, you and I, we've seen the sequels, we've seen the musical. All of them are great.
yeah.
This is the first thing that the
This is
Lion
the
King
worst-
franchise has
I've
given
read
us.
some.
Worst Lion
I've read
King
some
product.
children's books. I've watched The Lion Guard, which is a show made for children, and that's better. I think what is even more aggressively bad about this is that there's so much that exists. You just named the musical, all these other things. There's so much that exists of a well to pull from, where they brought more to the story of The Lion King than what the animated film had originally, and they didn't pull from any of it.
What I truly don't understand is this movie is 30 minutes longer than the original, and I feel like half of the character development was like just washed away. I feel like there's no character development. I don't have a real sense of these characters except for the words that they're saying, so I have to take it as face value.
You only know these characters because you saw the original.
Yes. And and as this movie was coming out, we talked about casting, and like James Earl Jones came back as Mufasa. After seeing this, I wish he wasn't in this movie. I wish they recasted him, because Mufasa has no emotional value in this movie. I didn't feel connected to him at all. The only reason I had any connection is because he's from the original.
Sure.
He delivers his lines. I feel like he delivers his lines worse in this movie.
He's like
he does.
he's 80 years old. The dude's
well, not only that, again, all of them are clearly these are not all bad actors,
None of
especially
them
voice
are.
actors,
None of them
and
are.
they are clearly all held back.
I will hold that. I've to be fair, I've only seen Beyonce in 2 films. I don't think she's very good.
Sure, I mean that's fine, and I agree with you. I think there was no reason to cast Beyonce if you weren't going to have her sing Shadowlands.
Yeah.
I've said this before when we were anticipating Lion King. I can't believe that they cast her and Shadowlands wasn't in this. I can't believe that Julie Taymor, who made the musical, was attached to this film in any kind of production value at all, and they didn't put Shadowlands in. Like, of all the things supporting from the musical, if you have Beyonce playing Nala, you put Shadowlands in this movie.
All the songs are like truncated versions of them too,
And they're all boring.
yeah.
I was
Like they're all boring.
the only song I wasn't bored of was "Circle of Life," and but the only time it still wasn't my favorite because I'm sitting there thinking I'm seeing the same thing I saw 2 days ago, but just photorealistic.
The Lion Sleeps Tonight was also good.
Okay,
I will give The Lion Sleeps Tonight credit.
I liked. So I do have a positive that you just reminded me of and it relates to The Lion Sleeps Tonight. There are 2 moments. One, it's the Beauty and the Beast reference, and it's The Lion Sleeps Tonight, that I found to be the most hilarious sequences added to this film. Because they hold it so long that you kind of wonder, like, how long are we going with this? And then by the time they do break the tension, it's hilarious.
Yeah.
My only problem with the Beauty and the Beast one is that it is, and I understand it because you're going for this sense of realism, and the original does not pay to that, but robbing Timon of a moment like the hula moment, again, I get it, we're going with a realistic tone, but robbing him of that is an example of how they rob all the characters, Simba, Rafiki, of all their fun. The fact that there's no part where Rafiki is singing Asante Sana Squash Banana. Fact that he doesn't hit Simba on the head with his stick and then Simba learns from it and takes the stick and throws it away. All of the fun of those characters is gone.
There is no magic. I don't mean sorcerer magic, but you know what I mean, magic.
Yeah,
like
no.
when you feel it, like
I
the
get
Disney
it.
magic.
Except for the relationship between Billy Eichner and Seth Rogen.
And again, those 2 work so well because they were allowed to just riff for hours. And like they work together. It's like it's clear that they were the only 2 people who like were having any real fun. It feels
Yeah.
like.
And they bring life to the movie when they're on it. To be fair,
I do have one more moment that like it does work for me in this movie. You could only do it in this way in this movie, and it's Pumbaa's flashback during Hakuna Matata.
It's so
to when
good.
he's a little
Holy
piglet.
shit.
I thought of
Holy
Brandon when I
shit.
saw it. And I'm
So
like, I know
cute.
Brandon's liking this moment too.
So cute.
When little tiny Pumbaa showed up, I turned to Zara. I was like, I did not expect to see cute Pumbaa kill a frog with his fart.
Yeah.
No one did. No one did, and it was adorable.
That worked really well. Those kind of things are few and far between.
I didn't hate Chewie until I did for a scar. It's weird.
I hated his Be
he's
Prepared.
Like he's like a
So
main
did I.
character, but I still feel he's like underutilized.
All right, I
in a
have-
way.
You would tell HF4. So he's Scar looks bored. Like Scar, the facial design of Scar looks bored. And one of the things that I really don't like about his Be Prepared, and the same thing with I Just Can't Wait to Be King, both of those sequences are highly stylized in the original film. And you take away that stylization, you take away the fun of both those.
There's animals
moments.
like standing on top of each other and like making like parades and stuff, almost like
Yeah.
Aladdin, and none of that's in here.
The I Just Can't Wait to Be King sequence is so horrendously boring to watch.
I was the second
Yeah.
I heard the music.
I was like, just cut the number, seriously.
yeah. So I have
Just cut all the numbers, I would argue.
I have a few things to say about those 2 sequences. I'm gonna start with I Can't Wait to Be King first because as a child that was my favorite scene in the whole movie because it was the most cartoony, it was colorful, it was vibrant. It's like it's Simba singing about being king. The second I heard the music start, the the music go for the number, I'm like, can we not? Like that was the first thought that went through my brain was, can we not? I mean, it doesn't do a horrible job, but it. Like the second he starts singing or he lands the ground, in the original, the colors and the background change instantly. It's like, okay, now I'm in for a show.
John Oliver's fun.
Yeah,
He is.
He is.
It's really weird. The only things I like are all the comedians.
Yeah.
John Oliver has a line where he says, "One of my brothers thinks he's a woodpecker," and I was hysterical for like 5 minutes.
John Oliver is channeling his Last Week Tonight like insane character the entire thing, and I loved it. I thought it was awesome.
So did
Even
I.
though it looks super weird.
Again,
so
like,
bad.
Yeah.
But I grant them the benefit
And he
of
sounds
that.
like he's recorded.
Yeah.
So every time So Circle of Life, you were talking about it.
Yeah.
Circle of Life, it worked for me at D23. It worked for me here. If
there was no one talking.
If I isolate it as just that, like if they'd released it as just like this fun thing we did, and it's just a live action interpretation of Circle of Life, I'd be like, well, that's really emotional and cool. Way to celebrate 25 years, guys. When the wildebeest stampede happens and no one's talking, and it's the music of that moment and them rushing down. It works. Anytime it's the Lion King music, the score, happening with no dialogue, I'm there.
Yeah.
And if the whole movie had been that, I'd be happy.
The wildebeest scene when they were going down in the gorge, I was like, okay, this is good. This is good.
When Simba was on the tree, that was like a little tension.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this actually looks this is nice.
There is tension, but you still don't feel anything when Mufasa dies.
Right.
I definitely didn't.
Right. So I just can't wait to be king. It was boring. Didn't like it that much. Be prepared. Now, as an adult, that's one of my favorite.
Oh, you mean slam poetry scar?
I hated it. I did not like it at all.
Same.
The second, I mean, even when he was like slam poetry, and then when he starts singing at the
Be
end,
prepared.
I was like,
prepared.
oh man, I love that sequence in the original. It's menacing. Jeremy Irons and Jim Cummings singing that song is like, this is top notch.
I was ready to see some fascist hyenas, man.
Yeah,
I was ready.
this is god level Disney.
The hyenas are
tier
so
villain.
boring.
They are so lame. But just
The hyenas, I really don't like what they do with the hyenas.
I mean, people like this new Be Prepared. That is fine. For me, it just does not work. It is boring, and it just takes the gravitas of Scar becoming the leader of these hyenas away. He's just like, yo, I'm going to help you guys out. Instead, he was always friends with them. And then he's like, we're going to kill him. We have this
Did you guys
plan.
catch the Scar being in love with Sarabi?
Got it.
Yeah.
I actually like
there was like one line.
What the hell?
Yeah.
So
did not need that.
There's fan theories.
That part of sorry, Ryan,
Yeah,
but
go ahead.
that part when in the very beginning when like the first scene between Scar and Mufasa, and he says, "Oh, I would never dream of challenging you."
Not again.
Again.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, there's some new
You
backstory.
want to know how I got
here.
these scars?
Yeah, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm into that.
I will say I did like that line.
But then they didn't do jack shit with it until later on when I'm thinking, are we going to get Menace to King Scar when he's eating that hyena and he's talking to Sarabi? Are we finally going to get some good shit? Are we going to get some good shit?
I didn't
no.
know what...
Thanks, movie, for getting my expectations super high. You suck.
What shitty clickbait thing it was, but is like, is Simba actually Scar's son?
Holy shit.
What?
And I'm like, no.
No.
The answer is no.
The answer is
I'm not even
definitely
going to
no.
click this article. I'm no.
You, the person who wrote wow.
Again, man,
yeah.
I don't know, honestly, how much more I could say. Like, have you seen The Lion King? Then you've seen this movie, except it's not as good.
That's what I've told my friends, because I've had friends who haven't seen it, and they ask me, it's like, oh, is it good? And I'm like, have you seen the original?
Yeah.
You've seen the live action one. You don't need to go see it.
It's just so lifeless.
It's soulless.
Yeah.
And like it's the first time Disney I think is like the best like entertainment. Like they know how to entertain people. This is the first time I'm like, wow, this is a truly massive misstep. Like truly.
So the original is it lives in my brain. It's a part of me.
Yes.
He lives in.
I can see it.
Would you say he lives in you?
I would say he lives in me. I can see it in my head all the time. So throughout the movie, I was having a really hard time when they would say certain lines, not being triggered to just see the animated version over it and being like, oh man, what's happening? And constantly throughout the film, I was just being pulled back and forth on my emotions about, but I love this, but this isn't the way I want it. But I love it.
So I really like the number "He Lives in You," and I re-listened to the Broadway musical on the way up to Monterey this weekend. The Madness of King Scar is an incredible number. I feel like they should have just done an adaptation of the musical. Honestly. He Lives in You, I was really kind of hoping that would find its way into this movie. It found its way into Simba's Pride after the musical, but
found its way into the credits.
It did find its way into the credits, and you know what? I appreciated that.
Did it?
I was like, I would rewatch these credits for that.
After the Elton John song ends, there Le Bohème does He Lives in You, but entirely in Swahili.
Oh, I did not catch that.
Yeah,
well, you were leaving the theater pretty quickly.
Also, I really had to pee, so
I almost didn't catch it. But then I was kind of like, wait, this sounds really familiar. And then when he does the chorus, I was like, holy shit, this is "He Lives in You." I love that song.
I will say, Rafiki's criminally underutilized.
Yes.
I do like that they got a South African actor playwright to play him.
Yeah.
Which is he's barely in the movie, so like it's still cool that they gave that guy that little role.
But the same, I was like when Simba was going through, I was really hoping to
It's
hear.
T'Chaka.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, sweet.
There you go.
Rafiki is T'Chaka.
Okay,
you go.
but I was really hoping to hear Asante San Squash Banana.
I know, right?
But I even
I've
know
got a
magic.
lovely bunch. I've got a lovely bunch of coconuts.
So
They don't even get that-
standing in a row.
Man,
Yeah.
that wouldn't have worked with this version of
That
Scar.
one of. That one of.
But I mean, that is part of the thing, is that just the characters aren't allowed to have personalities.
Hey, one of the best
Yeah.
jokes in the original is "It's a Small World" joke.
No, I didn't think about that
if-
song.
I love that joke.
All right.
So yeah.
I have. I'm sorry, Ryan.
Go ahead.
No.
I was just gonna say, like, Disney likes to make sequels to things. Like, don't give me the Lion King 2. They said that they have hours of footage of Billy Eichner and Seth Rogen as Timon and Pumbaa. I actually would love a Lion King 1.5 with these guys. I don't
Sure.
want another Lion King like this. Give me the comedy version, please.
Yeah, but
I'd watch that.
Yeah.
One of the scenes that I was really looking forward to see what they would do live action was the Force Ghost Mufasa scene, where he finally talks to Simba and Simba realizes.
Oh, you mean the thunderstorm?
the thunderstorm? I hate. It
With
was
the occasional face made out in
I
lightning.
didn't know there was so much they could have done with that to make it. I know they're trying to go away from. Yeah, they're trying to go more realistic, but that scene, just throw a little bit of mysticism in
But
there. Make the
that's the
clouds
problem.
look better like a lion, not just we only
That's
see a
the-
lion with a thunderstorm in it every once in a while. Give us
That's the problem, though, with this film. The Lion King doesn't work in a live-action formula.
It's
It
got
just
magic.
doesn't.
It's got
The
magic,
reason
baby.
why The Lion King works is because it is animated. If you want to make photorealism Lion King, you've already failed.
I watched 20th anniversary like whole thing of talking about the Lion King 20 years later, where it had like all the original creators and Julie Taymor on the musical end talking about it, and Julie Taymor said this whole thing where the reason the Lion King is so impactful is because it is a human story told through the guise of animals.
Just
And
like
this-
cats.
And this lost that entire idea.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
I still stand by that. I think this whole thing could have worked if it was dialogue-less and had been music with the animals telling the story just visually. I think that could have worked.
It's like Planet Earth. Yeah.
I think it would have been super experimental and weird, but I think everybody would have liked it more. Or make it people. Just straight up, like, kind of do your own version of what the musical is, but without having to make them look like they're trying to be...
Cats.
No, but don't make them look like they're trying to be animals. Make it, like, tribal. Make it this whole thing. You could have done that, too, and explored a whole lot of...
like the lion tribe, the hyena tribe.
Yes, a whole lot of richness in that, but they didn't go for that either. I think either one of those ways would have been better than this.
I know we talked about we don't like the hyenas, but I need to talk about real because like we like Eric Andre, who is
Sure.
one of the
and Keegan-Michael Key.
who are two
Oh,
of the
yeah.
craziest, funniest comedians, and they are so underutilized. And so Eric Andre could have been literally anybody. Why did you hire him if he's not going to be crazy?
And Shenzi is played by the second in command of the
Dora Milaje?
Dora Milaje.
Yes. So all Marvel alums, basically.
Yeah.
But again, Eric Andre is like the craziest talk show host of all time, and he is so boring
Wait.
in this.
I was so disappointed with Shenzi.
Shenzi
I
played,
just-
was. I'm sorry, Ben, but she was played by Danai Guri.
No, the second
second-
in
No, not
command
her.
after her.
Oh,
The one in Civil War who says "move or you will be moved" from
She's very tall.
to
Oh.
Scarlett Johansson.
never mind then. Okay.
Yeah, that's Shenzi.
Sorry, Brandon. You were
Again, like,
saying.
sorry, go ahead,
No,
Brandon.
that's it.
The
I
hy-
just
the
think Shenzi
hyenas-
is boring.
Yeah,
Okay.
the hyenas are the craziest people in that movie, and like, again, I know you're making this realistic, but people are crazy in the real world. Why do you hire Eric Andre and Keegan-Michael Key to just talk normal?
Yo,
That's so boring. Those characters are crazy.
The scene where the hyenas show up in the elephant graveyard in the original in animated version is so much better. It's so much because of course Simba is trying to like be all tough to Nala. He's like, I laugh at the face, haha, and then they start laughing and they're instantly freaked out.
Yeah.
This one, Nala's like, all right, you prove your bravery, let's bounce, and then finally you see him coming from behind, and then they just growl. And it's like, no, laugh and do the. Wow,
They're not menacing. There's
you
no menace.
messed this up. You
Yeah.
messed this up big time.
And there's this weird backstory of there's this ongoing war between the hyenas and the lions, which I thought was really weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're trying to add more stuff to it.
Like
yeah.
the adding of Scar being in love with Sarabi, I'm like, okay, that's good stuff to add.
almost like Aladdin.
I disagree with that. I disagree with that entirely. What
Okay.
you just said, Ben.
Remember
That's
how
fine.
Aladdin tried to add like the war between that other country?
Oh, sure.
It's
Oh,
almost like
yeah.
that. Like they're adding story that does not need to be
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't mind Scar's history with Sarabi if it was a fleshed out thing, a character developed thing, but it's not. It's just a kind of like, hey, we added this.
It's just
this
a line.
Yeah,
It's
we added this thought, and
Again,
it's neat.
I'm truly shocked. I'm shocked that this is a 2-hour movie where like I didn't know who these people
Realize I'm on the bed.
these animals were. Like I know who Simba is from the 1994 movie, but like his character is not here. Like I know he can't wait to be king.
You're kind.
The words are there, but the emotion and the stuff behind it is gone.
You're kind of transplanting the original characters onto this because you know them.
This is an HD remaster that's worse. That's which never happens.
Yeah.
So, again, like that 20-year thing I was watching, it had like Matthew Broderick, Nathan Lane in it, a whole lot of them talking about just how they knew Le Bohème, Hans Zimmer, they knew as they were working on it, as they came to work on The Lion King, that they were starting to form something special, that they everybody was going to be taken by this. There was something magical forming, which if you know the history of the studio, they had a hard time getting people to get on board to animate The Lion King when they started at the company because everybody wanted to work on Pocahontas instead because they didn't have faith in The Lion King.
Wrong.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes. So it's crazy. I don't want to say that there are these movies that can't be redone. I think even this could have been done well. It just wasn't. They didn't have any idea of what made The Lion King special, obviously. They lost everything about it that made it unique. They tossed it out the window and made a shallow rehash of it. They took some of my favorite sequences from the original, one of them being Le Bohème and Hans Zimmer's score where Simba's running through the desert when he's coming back, and instead they shoved Beyonce's new hit single Spirit over it.
Oh my God.
Which I didn't need.
Rewatching that a few days ago, I'm like, man, that scene was. I felt that the power impact of that scene of Simba just running through, and you hear the music and like the ghost of him on his legs just running through the sands, like he's going to his destiny.
It's a representation of a spiritual journey.
Yeah, and then live action, it's Beyonce singing. I'm like, okay, and then there she is. I'm like, this is
again
bad.
like. You have an animated movie, that's based off Hamlet that has the animals on top of each other and has like emotional, it's not a real movie. Like I don't get this.
They also made Nala lame, and here's how specifically. Nala in the original will not leave until Simba is convinced to return because he is the person she knows can make a difference.
Yeah.
She comes looking for help.
The king I know inside.
In the new one, she's like, all right, fine, I'll go back without you, whatever. And I'm like, okay, that's not Nala. Like, that's not a strong choice. She was staying there to be like, you need to go back. She was going to make sure that it happened. She was going to stick by him till it changed. And in this one, she just is like, I give up. Whatever. Another one of my favorite bits is when Scar, in the original, goes for his last pounce on Simba. It's a really striking image when he's going for Simba, and Simba kicks him off the cliff. Does anybody remember how Scar dies in this one? How he ends up off that cliff? Do you remember how it happens in this remake? Because I'll tell you.
I don't.
I remember the
actually.
claws on Simba.
He slips. He slips down the cliff.
Doesn't Simba try to get up?
No,
and then,
he slips.
Simba
knocks him back. He's about to come for
Yeah.
Simba again. He slips.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, because you're right, because in the animated version, Scar jumps on Simba and Simba kicks him off. Fun fact: that's how you beat him in the Genesis and Super Nintendo game.
Hell yeah!
That's the only way you can beat Scar in the last level of the game.
Tips and tricks.
But you're right, Scar slips, and even I thought that was really dumb and stupid.
Lame.
Another thing that I did not like was when Scar had Mufasa and said, "Long live the king." I get it that you're trying to be different from the original, but at the same time, the original was just so more impactful. It was a very intense moment between Scar and Mufasa.
Oh, do you mean the second time he says it?
Yeah, where he just looks in and says, like when in the original, Jeremy Irons saying "Long live the king" as a whisper, as silent. He's like, "Oh, I got you now." Simba
you're talking about the delivery being different?
Yeah, I hated when Egypt. I mean, most of
Chiwetel
Ejiofor's performance.
Yeah,
I dug. I'm like, this isn't bad. I am okay with this. But when he yells, "Long live the king," I'm like, Simba can hear you.
He's like a more passive Scar, which I don't like.
It's like
Like
Simba
it's a good
can hear-
performance, but it's not the Scar that's like overwhelmingly like terrifying.
No, yeah. I mean, I'll say this: I like Scar in this better than I like Jafar in Aladdin.
100%.
In
Oh,
that
yeah.
remake,
I'll say that.
I'll say
I will
that.
agree
Like
with
this,
that.
I'll agree with that.
even though this isn't the Scar that I love from the original, this is at least a Scar I can get.
I can recognize.
I can get behind. That's just a terrible Jafar.
I agree.
He clearly put some choice into this. At least he made a choice.
He's got like a soft voice, which is a cool.
Yeah.
I guess like.
There are moments. Okay, there are moments in this movie. One that I really like is when Simba happens to come upon Scar instead of like seeking him out by chasing the beetle, and Scar's like, "Get out of here, Simba! I don't do babysitting."
Yeah.
That
I'm
is
like,
good.
man,
That is a good line. Yeah.
There are moments, but they are not. They're not enough. They're just not
It just
enough.
No.
Again, like after we have Beauty and the Beast and Maleficent and Aladdin, where like these movies have like magic and they have like crazy stuff. Like The Lion King is not the movie to do this for.
No.
It's
No.
such a mistake on a fundamental level.
Especially if you're going to lose everything that's like between the animated film and the musical specifically becomes so powerfully resonant about it. You lost all those key pieces.
And the problem is, this movie's already made $1 billion in 1 week, so we might get another thing related. I just hope that they see the critical response.
It beat the box office for Beauty and the Beast, which was like the highest box office a Disney film had.
It's The Lion King. It was gonna.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I hope the money isn't like, oh, it made a lot of money, let's do this again. Like, I hope they
But see,
realize
that's not how Disney works. Like, we all talk about how Disney they create some good content. Regardless of the business practices, their content is quality. But they still are a company that follows money. If something makes money, they keep doing the same thing to make more money. That's why we have all these remakes.
They lost the spark.
Oh,
simply
In
they
multiple
lost the
ways.
spark translating from the animated to this.
Yeah.
It's just not there. What makes it special is not there. It's really hard for me to say that because it's still The Lion King, and I still, on some level, like things in it. I'll say this: like visually, it's impressive.
It is.
Obviously, visually, it's very
Oh,
impressive.
it's a beautiful movie.
this movie's gonna set the stage for a lot of really great special effects.
They did a really good job getting down pieces of animal behavior. The way the lions pace around, the way that Zazu's
Timon-
hornbill moves
Yeah.
his head.
Timon is an actual
Meerkat.
and like does meerkat
Does the
manner
meerkat
stuff.
movements? Yeah. There are great things. There's just not a lot of them.
Yeah.
And again, like it's not at all related. But again, His Dark Materials has animals in it that look real, but they're not completely realistic. So they look good in a film while being silly.
And I don't get it because this wasn't a problem in Jungle Book.
No, they're more cartoony in Jungle Book. There's a huge ape.
Yeah.
So like I just don't understand how
You
nobody.
have a grizzly bear and a panther constantly talking.
Yeah. And then you also have Mowgli.
Mowgli.
And it's the same director too.
Again, like it's so weird. Like just how did they not see this from the beginning? Or maybe it was so far along, there's nothing they can do.
I don't know why they went into this. Like fundamentally, I don't understand why they went into this and decided not to add anything new or bring anything that wasn't in the
Why make
animated
this
film to the table.
so
There's so
realistic?
much stuff from the musical they could have pulled from.
Yep.
So many little avenues, whether it's the Madness of King Scar, Shadowlands for Nala, or just adding into the character development of the things that happened for Simba between him growing away from Mufasa with Timon and Pumbaa, because there is more of that in the musical. There were so many things they could have brought in, or build on the history of Mufasa and Scar. There are avenues to take, and they did none of it. Not a bit of it.
It's really disheartening.
It is.
It's like again, like it is their first like, wow, this is a swing and a mother effing miss.
It's
Yeah.
a really sad thing. I hate that I have to say it. Let's get off this topic. I'm getting real bummed out.
Yeah.
We're already going to talk more about it when we have the Key Thief on next month.
oh hell yeah,
Oh, yeah.
So,
that's Lion King. Go watch the original one.
are we rating it?
Yeah, I'll
Let's
rate
Yeah.
do it. Ryan, rate it.
it. Oh boy,
Final thoughts, rate it.
I don't even know how. I think this movie looks incredible. I don't need my Lion King movie to look incredible though. So
I just need my Lion King movie to be the Lion King.
yeah. So like, man, like on a fundamental emotional level, like that's why I go to the movies and feel connected. And I was pretty much bored most of this movie. Like it's like a 5. Like it's not bad enough to make me hate it, but like, man, what a mistake.
Yeah.
5, half a good movie.
Ben?
Yeah. There are some good parts in this movie. Lion Sleeps Tonight, great elongated musical number. Other than that, I thought Donald Glover and Beyonce, they sounded fine when they sang Can You Feel the Love Tonight? But
She
then
overwhelms him with singing, though.
so much.
She-
But other than that, I forget that Donald Glover's in this movie. His name is the first one on the damn marquee, and I feel like he's barely in the movie.
I thought the kids were okay.
The kids were fine.
The young versions were okay.
The kids were fine. It's
The
just,
cast isn't the problem.
yeah. It's just everything else. You're right. The magic is gone. All the love that I
You
had.
can't feel the love tonight.
No, I can't. And this movie just hurts. It's like I was thinking of that. I'd rather just watch the original than waste my money on this. So yeah, it's a 5. I don't completely hate it, but if I had a choice, I would definitely go to 94, and then I have 30 minutes extra to do whatever.
I would watch Beauty and the Beast before I'd watch this again.
You know what?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Easy.
I think I would too.
Yeah.
Actually,
At least that movie has like interesting stuff it's trying to do.
Yeah.
Brandon.
So, you know the sequence in Aladdin where it's just before Genie actually sings "Friend Like Me" and he's doing the little song and dance thing. This little quiet thing is like, well, Alibaba has, it's a little bit before he gets to the big number.
Oh yeah.
That is this whole movie. That kind of like boring version of it's like they never got to the exciting version of Friend Like Me.
Yeah.
And that is the problem. Like it is just kind of middle of the road. It's not terrible. It's good enough to make it watchable, but you forget about it, so it's not even good enough to rewatch. It is a 5. It's a 5.
I love The Lion King.
This is how I feel every time we talk about Marvel
this
movies,
version.
dude.
I don't love this version.
Yeah.
Jeez. Let's see.
Is it as bad as Venom?
No.
I would
it's
watch.
still The Lion King.
It is.
It's still The Lion King.
I know.
Like, it's just fundamentally on that being still what it is. I can still sit through this before I could watch Venom again. I just don't like Venom.
No, I know.
Man. Yeah. I know that like there was a point in the movie. I'm pretty sure it was around Circle of Life where like I felt maybe it even wasn't. I'll give it the credit. I think maybe it even was when Mufasa went up to the top with Simba to do the light that everything touches bit, and I was just getting the music was doing the na 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 na, and I was like, man, I'm feeling it. I was getting the goosebumps and everything, and I'm like, oh, this is the thing.
This is it.
And then it left, and then it never came back, and I was like, no.
There's like one specific scene. It's the beginning of the movie. It's just Simba and Mufasa just playing in the grass. It's like talking.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, this is really boring.
Yeah.
Wow, I should be in love with James Earl Jones live action Mufasa, right? I know it's not live action, but it looks like a live action.
Sure.
I'm like, I should be loving this right now. I am bored out of my mind.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
He
that's
even
not a good
sounds
sign.
bored out of his mind.
Again, he's an old man recording the same lines.
Yeah.
His Darth Vader in Rogue One was better than this.
Yeah, that's similar. Yeah. What would you rate it?
I'm gonna give it a 7 because it's still The Lion King, guys. It still got me.
That's my Marvel scale. No, I
like
feel you.
it still got me. It's still The Lion King.
It's a pass. Is what you're saying. Yeah.
I know it's soulless and unnecessary. It's still The Lion King.
Yo, man.
I'll
Again,
still probably wind up watching it again at some point.
it's like Iron Man 2 for me. Like, wow, that's not a great movie, but I really love Iron Man.
To be honest with you, I almost want to because I want to give it. Not that I think it will change my opinion, but I want to give it a shot where maybe I watch it without seeing the original flash in my head because I know what I'm watching.
I haven't seen the original in years.
No.
I'm telling you, it's not a good movie.
No. I haven't seen the original for a while because it lives in my brain.
Yeah.
If I know what I'm watching, maybe I won't see the animated.
I just
as
don't
much.
want you to make
know.
yourself love this movie because it's a Lion King. Because I used to do that with Marvel movies, and I don't anymore.
I mean, I don't know if I can make myself love it, but maybe I can make myself like it.
No, you don't need to.
Hey, here's the positive though. Let's end on a positive.
Okay.
Great classic Lion King merchandise has come back around because this happy 25 years to that incredible film.
Hell yeah.
And there is at least some cool music. I do like the soundtrack for this movie.
Yeah.
Even though I don't love all the musical numbers that they do, the score, they do some new things with it that I love.
I learned Billy
Because
Eichner.
it's still Hans Zimmer and Lee Boehm. So.
I learned Billy Eichner's a really good singer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he is. Good for him. All right, let's get out of here.
Yeah.
Let's
Cool.
move on to our Bookie Book Club.